40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Sunday Super Speedway Series. We are looking forward to bringing you some action here at Talladega Superspeedway, the 2.66 mile oval, and we've got 75 laps in store for you here tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Bringing you this one. So yeah, fourth week of the season, and you'll hear obviously a familiar voice in the booth, Boomer Logan, myself, back at it again on Sunday nights. I'll be running the show, and we got a familiar co-host with us here. Mr. Gael Brooks is also calling the action. Gael, how's it going tonight?
It's going well. I'm not gonna know what to do with my hands because I'm used to pushing way too many buttons and dials. But I'm happy to let you take over on that one. Yeah, It's gonna be fun tonight. Like I said, we're back at where we started the season. John Ellis getting that win in his opener, to lead off his Area 51 season with that win, and then Cody and Landon getting the next two wins. And the joke was for Landon was he'd finish third and third if he's gonna be. He wants to try to get those other two spots, and so he got the win last week. And so I'd mentioned, all right, now you just got to get the second place to kind of get it filled in. But I think he wants to be greedy and go for another first in a row. So, yeah, I'll be fun to see what they learned from last time here at Talladega. Again, you kind of learn every time you're out here. So I'll be curious to see what adjustments these drivers make on pit strategy, drafting strategy, to see who's going to be able to come out on top.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be, you know, we talked about that notebook on Friday night, and you build that notebook of, what you can do, how you can make moves, and obviously, we're getting pretty far into the new season here with the Gen 4 going, or sorry, not the Gen 4, the Gen 6 cars, going back to that, and it's been honestly a lot of fun. I mean, these, we've talked about it, and obviously in real life there was, the unique style of, I mean, very aggressive, high drag, really large, really fast runs, and kind of, we've talked about obviously off camera, we talked about it, Gael, where it kind of lends itself more to some of the guys who are willing to be more aggressive, and it's just somewhat of a different style from kind of what we've seen typically in the past, for obviously not just Area 51, but for super speedway style racing in general, and in stock car super speedway racing in general.
Yeah, I know exactly right. So it's going to be interesting. Like, and yeah, the draft packages on a lot of these have changed. Where I've noticed, even in the trucks, if you've got two trucks, that bubble of air. I noticed that on Friday night where I was working with Bud at one point, And yeah, I basically had to drag the brakes to let him break the draft bubble, if you will, to get onto me. And yeah, these cars, like you said, though, you've got to be ultra aggressive with if you really want to succeed on the pushes. So it's gonna be fun to see. I was spying in on the chat there while you were talking, and so money lap will be lap 42 coming to 43. So we'll be watching for that extra aggression at that point of the race as well.
Yeah, definitely. Always exciting to see that, and definitely see those guys racing pretty hard at that point, and definitely a lot of fun. But we've got some of the grid to go through for you tonight. It looks like we are getting ready to go here. Dude Conrad is going to be on the pole for tonight. He's got that number 8 car in that position. Landon Velicki, winner already this season. He's going to be to his outside. Row number 3 is going to be 2 more of the winners that we've seen, and all the winners there in the top 4, Cody Nagels and John Ellis. Justin Davis there in the top 5 in a solid starting position. He's got Vicente Guerrero to his outside for row number 3. And we see Everett Lane and Charles Johnson up there as well in row number 4. Dean Wilkinson and Thomas Holder are going to round out that top 10 for you tonight. And we've got Todd Merkel and Eric Laurie there on row number 6 of the grid. We've got a couple more names here to come back to. Maxwell Caldwell, Bob Fitzgerald side by side on row number 7. We've got Tom Dixon and Hayden Davis, row number 8. And then Gary Huffines and William Roberts will be row number 9. And we've got Evan Carlbin in the 78 and Philip Bridgman side by side as well. And the top 20 positions, and then Bud Steele and Brandon Briggs will be your last row of the grid for tonight. And we'll get these cameras worked out so you can actually see these cars coming around the speedway as they get ready to take to the green flag this time by.
Yeah, I've been looking around, so it looks like we're gonna have one driver starting from the pits this evening, which is gonna be Everett Lane. And then I haven't seen Evan yet actually get either in the pits or anything like that. So not sure if maybe some hardware issues for the 78 car, but hopefully if that's the case, I say hopefully get back in here sooner than later. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out on him in this event. Right now, I cannot tell if he's connected or not, but yeah, I can tell you 24 though starting from the pits this evening. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see a lot of the Nightmare Esports guys up in that front group here. And I'll be curious to see also is it going to be middle top lane favorite again tonight, like we've seen in some of the other evenings here with the Gen 6 car.
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously, it's fun to see a different car combination. Obviously, these are kind of a unique stock car. They look a little different from when they first rolled out from the Gen 4, or sorry, I keep saying Gen 4. I definitely mean Gen 6. But when they first rolled out, the draft package changed quite a bit, and obviously these are the kind of that last generation of those. But we get to race them here tonight, and green flag is out on the speedway. Dude Conrad leading us to the field. And we are underway, 75 laps here at Talladega Superspeedway tonight.
Yep, so far so good. Pretty clean, pretty nicely well packed in those about top 6-7 rows. So I'll spy around a little bit, looking a little further back, and it seems like a little bit of separation. Some guys trying to, I think, just play it safe here early on, including Bud Steeler from now. He's going to catch back up. But again, that's the danger of that. And actually, he's talking about the danger right off the kick here. I'll say hopefully he wasn't texting and driving, but Brandon Briggs actually fallen off the draft in that 39 car, so going to keep an eye on him. And I'm still not seeing the 78 car out on track either, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. I wonder if Brandon maybe is doing a solid here. Maybe he's going to wait for Everett Lane, just maybe not let him have to do all the draft by himself. So I'll keep an eye on those two.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like he's jumping back there potentially, but he's got a long way to go. Everett is a lap down already, so I don't know exactly where on track they're going to be lined up. You see him crossing the stripe.
Update on that.
Yeah. So so we see now Brandon Briggs is in between the pack and Everett Lane as Everett Lane comes around. So yeah, definitely think that was a sportsmanship play from the great Brandon Briggs, obviously on the broadcasts on Friday nights with me, and appreciate him going back there to help Everett out and try to get him back up to speed. And we've got a 3-wide battle though here at the front as Dude Conrad tries to figure out which lane he needs to be in front of.
Yeah, Charles popped into the middle, took the 00 along with him. Eric Laurie, I see in that group as well. So, stout group there in the middle. Some of the Nightmare Esports guys kind of split up. Cody pinned on the inside, but then you look on the outside there, and you've got Veliki there. You've got the 14 of Ellis as well as Vicente, all lined up nice nose to tail. So big shot there from the 14 to 62. And again, these are cars you can draft extremely aggressively on. And again, that's what I talked about is you can get away with the aggressiveness on these cars, give those big pushes, especially with drivers you're comfortable with. Of course, we always talk about the risk though of pushing that pusher, that accordion effect. It's which big wiggles there.
Ooh, there's gonna be a car around. That's gonna be the first yellow. Ooh, big hit for the outside wall.
Yeah, a number of cars involved in that one, unfortunately.
Dude, Conrad looking like a modified, and the 19 of Hayden Davis is crab walking pretty bad after that incident. We'll see if we can take it back to
William Roberts' whole front clip is gone.
There's a couple cars crab walking like crazy. I think Charles Johnson. Yeah, look at how much Charles Johnson is crab walking at
my
that
goodness.
one. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can take it back to where this all started, and you see it starting to unfold. We'll rewind it just a little bit here, and you see Charles Johnson starting to get spun there to the outside. But yeah, so the 98 and the 19 just look like they're going for a little bit of a push in the middle of the corner, and they weren't fully lined up with each other too well. And you see the 98 gets a little bit underneath, and the 19 tries to get back in front of them, and they just make a little bit of contact there, and that's going to send them down into the 8. And then Charles Johnson has nowhere to go. He kind of gets hit in the rear quarter panel there, and the 21, just a sitting duck, just flies right into it. The 19, 8 hitting the outside wall hard. And yeah, there's going to be, I think there's also the 7 that came into that a little bit late, just nowhere to go up against the wall. Actually, the 7 has a pretty clean nose, so he did a really great job of checking up there. That is incredible that he came out with minimal damage if he did make contact or not. But yeah, some torn up race cars out there, Gael.
Yeah, no, a handful of fast repairs for sure. And I went back and yeah, so great job by Bud Steele too, as watching him avoid that. And then obviously a great break there for Everett Lane there, obviously with starting from the pit, so good break for him. But yeah, so actually the only contact I saw for the 7 and Philip Bridgman was he, like I said, he completely came to a stop to avoid the car in front of him. The only issue was Charles Johnson was missing some of his tires weren't on the ground, so got a little bit of a bump in the left rear. But I think that car is gonna be okay. And so yeah, but like we said though, always talk about two fast repairs available for these drivers. So a handful of them obviously going to be using those right off the bat and say, and that's going to be the 21 of William Roberts. I think the 19 Hayden Davis, Charles Johnson as well. So a number of those fast repairs, unfortunately, already having to be taken. But again, they should all still have one more.
Yeah, it's I mean, decent amount of the field involved in that wreck there. You know, we do see a couple trying to save. It looks like Gary Huffines might be trying to save a fast repair. Everett Lane's getting some extended pit time, so I'm not entirely sure what that's for him, but obviously Gary Huffines is spending 37, almost 40 seconds and counting in his pit stall, so we'll see. Obviously, we saw Dean Wilkinson, so jumping back to the front of the field, Dean Wilkinson rolled through so that he can pit. If you don't pit the first time, you can't pit the second time. So Dean just rolls through pit road to have that ability to pit on the second time. He's going to give up a little bit of track position, but he's going to top off on fuel. And I'm sure a few of these other drivers are going to do the same here. But Justin Davis, Dude Conrad, Todd Merkel, Eric Laurie, Tom Dixon, Bob Fitzgerald, Bud Steele, Landon Veliki, and Cody Nagels currently scored as your top 10. And while we've got a minute, we are going to take a quick commercial break and be right back for the restart. Alrighty, we are reset here, 2x2, getting ready for this restart. It's going to be Todd Merkel on the front row with the 6 of Bud Steele to his outside 2 Fords. There we've got 2 Chevys in that second row, and then we've got a couple Chevys and Fords mixed in throughout the rest of the field. And no Toyotas tonight, just bow ties and blue ovals, but Todd Merkel's going to lead us back to green here, and we see a lot of drivers actually coming down pit road a second time, so only your top 4 are going to be stacked up side by side. The rest are going to be single file for pitting that second time. So Brandon Briggs gets back up here, and as you mentioned just before the caution, Gael, that was a big break for the 24 to get back up into this field, and we are back underway. Green flag flies once again here on Green White Checker TV. Ooh, little stack up there further back in the field.
There.
Looks like everyone's going to get through okay, though.
Yeah, well, there might be some nose damage on some of these guys, though, because they're according pretty hard. Initially, it was the very back. I saw Vince was getting a couple shots and back and forth, and then like you said, I saw a little bit further up in the field as well, right around Maxwell. So hopefully those guys are all right. It's again, now they just got to make sure they don't lose the draft to Eric Laurie. He's got a little gap now to Maxwell. He's going to have to try to make up, but he's got plenty of help, so they just got to kind of get organized, get lined up here, and push forward. So we'll keep an eye on those guys. But yeah, up front, though, we're already 3 wide again, Boomer.
Yeah, the gap's growing to about 0.95 seconds off the rear bumper of Maxwell Caldwell to Eric Laurie, about 1 second, but I think they should be able to hold on here, especially as they cut a bigger hole through the air in front of them with the 3 wide action that we already seen. A little bit of a wiggle there, looks like on the outside from Tom Dixon, but he's going to hang on to it. A big
trouble.
Push from Cody Nagels. Trouble further on back.
The 08 and the 24 down on the in
yeah,
the
the 08 24, yep.
Yellow.
No yellow, but so we stay green, and they are going to make contact there. Let's actually see if we can take a look back at it. We'll go back to the point of the actual caution here, see if we can understand exactly what happens.
Just, yeah, I went and peeked at it. It looks like a bump gone wrong, but unfortunately, for sure,
Yeah.
the 08 got the worst of that. So, but yeah, so with all that happening, though, I think that slowed that second pack, or sorry, slowed the lead pack up. So I think it's starting to bring a few of these guys back into it.
Yeah, so see the big contact there for the 20 or the 08. The 24 not nearly as bad contact, but still quite a bit of damage for both those cars. We'll jump back live, but yeah, I think that kind of bunched up both packs, which helps. So we've got all the way back to 18th now linked up in this group. It's definitely a little more segmented than it was, but it is a little more organized now, and you see some of the Nightmare Esports guys are going to move to the front of the field. That's the 16 of Cody Nagels. He's got Landon Velicki with him, the 14 of John Ellis, and then the 6 of Bud Steele in between, and the 41 of Vicente Guerrero there. So that's 4 of the 5, or 4 of those Nightmare Esports drivers in the top 5 at the moment. And you saw the puff of smoke coming out of the back of Bob Fitzgerald, and he drives it all the way back around to the pits. I think Eric Laurie jumped to pit lane potentially, so he's getting the tow back. But yeah, that's definitely going to be tough for them. So Bob's in pits right now, and I think is Eric Laurie. Eric Laurie's also trying to get back. Everett Lane
I think
is.
He's back on track. I wonder if he had to do a fast repair possibly. I'm gonna go back and I'll check on that one, Boomer. But yeah, it's been and I've been keying up on the radio, listening to the drivers, and yeah, a few of them are a little bit heated right now.
Yeah, it's yeah, definitely that's a big contact there from the 24 and the 08, but it looks like Everett Lane is doing okay. Obviously, he had started from the pit lane, got the early caution to get back up in it, and now he finds himself about 30 seconds off the pack, and this time no drafting help and no one coming back to come rescue him. Eric Laurie coming back down pit road, and Bob Fitzgerald trying to get his service done. He got the fast repair, and he is back out on track. And yeah, working on lap number 11, though, the 16 and the 62 continue to control the outside lane with the 14, the 6, and the 41 in tow. In the middle, it's the 10 and the 7. On the bottom, we've got the 411, the 9, and the 94. So a couple of TW Motorsports, and then the Merkel, or 1320 Enterprises with Todd Merkel and Maxwell Caldwell there running in that bottom lane. And the 16, 62, 14 are going to settle for the middle for now, and Bud Steele and Vicente are going to be alone in that top lane and moving a little bit backward here as that third lane kind of fizzles out.
Yeah, I'm starting to try to spy a little bit around on the track to see where all these drivers are, and I think. Well, actually, no, I lie. I thought I saw maybe Eric Laurie was going to be able to get lined up with Everett Lane, but yeah, right now, and Bob's back on pit road too. And I saw Eric, same thing, had two pit stops for Eric, and right on cue as I say that, Everett Lane was commenting right now over the radio, apologizing to Bob about the contact just with the accordion that kind of wound up with the two of them. But yeah, so right now the 071 and 24 are unfortunately rolling solo, and it's also a tough spot for William Roberts and Gary Huffines as well. They've lost that main pack, which I was going to bring up earlier, Boomer, is if you're that last car in the draft, it's very easy to lose the pack. And so you have to be very careful, especially also these cars are very side draft aggressive. So do you side draft somebody and you're in the back, there's a very good chance that you could pull the both of you off the main draft. So something these guys have to be very aware of.
Yeah, and I know we've seen quite a few people with, different nose damage and tail damage from just all the contact that we've had so far. And, if you're trying to mess with that a little bit towards the back of the pack, and if you don't have the cleanest nose on you right now, if you didn't take fast repairs, you just want to be mindful of that, as you mentioned, and try to keep that thing towards the front, because it is a lot easier to lose the draft in these cars versus some of the other styles of stock cars that we've raced here at Area 51. But yeah, it's definitely it's definitely an interesting different beast, and it's kind of fun to change it up a little bit here just to get a chance to try something different. Obviously, there's a lot of different stock cars available in iRacing, and obviously we run the trucks and have run the trucks for quite a while. Obviously over on Friday nights, but Sunday we've had a chance to kind of change it up here and there. Obviously, ran the next gen for a little while, and have run the Xfinity car in the past, and now changing up, running the Gen 6, and gives everyone a fresh chance to try and start over with completely different mindset and different style of super speedway racing.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is there's so many options out there where, I mean, for all we know, next season could be something else where maybe they go to that 2003 style car where they have the Mustang and the Monte Carlo potentially. There's so many options, but man, right now, I'll say Brandon's making sure he's getting some TV time though, Boomer, because he is trying to make some moves on the middle there with Charles Johnson, and it was close for just a moment there. It looks like they've been able to settle it back out. Those top three on the outside looks like they've cleared both lanes right now, staying top. Now they move to the middle, and again though, it's just so close the way the timing works and when they make these moves, when they jump back up top.
Yeah, it's interesting. So Seth Groover actually jumped in on Friday night and was hanging out with us. Obviously, Jack Wells hanging out. He's all over the place. Obviously, he's in Virginia now. I think he's in Tennessee on Friday. But appreciate you jumping in tonight too, Jack. But we were talking about that top lane. It's interesting how dominant it can be just from the standpoint of we've never really seen where the top lane would be so dominant, where you can get a string of single file cars running around the top like you could see, in real NASCAR races. But it's not really something that we've ever seen much of in iRacing. So it's interesting that the latest builds and the latest updates for some of these cars are lending to that, especially the trucks on Friday nights. But it's interesting, and obviously that Nightmare Esports team, they've been the ones who have been working that system very well and learning that they can usually keep one or two, if not three or four or more cars clear in that outside lane, especially even through the corners, which not traditional or not typical that we've seen in iRacing, super speedway racing.
Yeah, no, it's a really good group of guys, and that's the thing. I mean, individually they're all really good, but they also work extremely well together as a team. And I mean, it's a very, very difficult combo to be in. So you see right now they're catching Everett keyed up there, said, "Hey, I'm going to be rolling top here. You guys go on low." Again, we talk about the respect that these guys give one another, and again, I mean, that's not the position Everett wants to be in, but again, he's hoping that something will open up where he can then get back in position. And then in future races, some of the guys around be like, "Hey, remember when he did that to us? We should probably repay that kindness. As close there between the 9 and the 62 there in one.
Yeah, man, the 62 just gave a big shove to the 16. The 39 just gave the 9 a big shove in the middle of the corner. But yeah, definitely not where they want to be. And man, they're getting a little discombobulated down the back straightaway here. The 39 is going to get down. Oh, he comes
geez.
back up and hits the 9.
Yeah, I think it was a bump gone wrong, and Brandon was trying to get line back up, and it just I think because you saw there was like 4 of them there on the apron.
Yeah.
And I think it just it got kind of all mixed up there, and at some point eventually, obviously they were trying to get set back up, and so. Nah, not what they want to do. Charles definitely, I'm sure, not happy about that one either. And yeah, just again, sometimes these pushes go a little wrong. And I think what happened there was Brandon was thinking, if I stay where I am, I'm going to wind up left hooking that 9 car. So went apron, and just unfortunately the momentum kind of stayed with him. And so yeah, so again, not what they were looking for there, and I'm sure Brandon not what he was hoping for either. But again, luckily still very early in this one.
Yeah, no harm, no foul. Obviously, just kind of the accordion that we saw earlier on, and take out a couple cars, even some that didn't involve a caution, but just obviously just an honest mistake, and they'll regroup and try to continue to move forward. But for now, Cody Nagel's still continuing to control this race. He's got Landon Velicki, John Ellis, and Vicente Guerrero, all 4 of his teammates, or all 4 of the group, so 3 teammates behind him there. He'll go back to 5th to find Tom Dixon, and then Dean Wilkinson and Charles Johnson. Some of the TW Motorsports entries are trying to move their way forward. Thomas Holder's in the top 10, so is Bud Steele and Dude Conrad at the moment. And you can see we are slowly starting to catch the 071 of Eric Laurie. The saving grace for Everett Lane is that he will be the only car 1 lap down. Eric Laurie is currently, but obviously he will be caught by the field to go 2 laps down pretty quickly. And then Bob Fitzgerald is a little bit further back. He does have the 98 and the 21 of William Roberts. Obviously, Bob is 6 laps down at the moment, and it looks like Gary Huffines and William Roberts are about 10 seconds off of the rear bumper of Hayden Davis, the car in front of him, and about 11 seconds off of our leader, Cody Nagels. But they are at least doing pretty well to kind of minimize that damage. They're running within a second or so of the leaders' times, and obviously as they get more organized in that pack, that should help out quite a bit. And we've kind of seen before where if there are 3 cars that are in 100% perfect sync with each other, they can be just as fast as a large pack, but typically it's going to take at least 4 or more cars to really have the same exact draft or power in the draft as you'd see like this this large pack here. So they'll bleed some time, but thankfully not nearly as much as it could be.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is, and actually I kind of had that situation in my race on Friday where I just didn't quite catch the lead pack. I waited a lapper, so I was like, let me see if they have a little bobble, maybe I can pull back in, and it just never happened. And so as soon as that happened, I pretty much dropped anchor and went. I think it was back to Bud there and said, hey, like let's work together because we're gonna lose so much less time if we just have the 2 of us versus each of us running the same lap times by ourselves. So it's one of those things like the short-term loss, but a long-term gain in all of that. But I was about to say, I think we're about to see pit stops. I saw a lot of guys start to lean over to the left side, and looks like it's going to be TW coming in together.
Yeah, it looks like they are coming down pit road now. It's going to be led by Charles Johnson. Dean Wilkinson is in. Tom Dixon is there as well. Everett Lane and Eric Laurie are going to come down pit road with them, and just be those for now. It looks like actually the further pack, the 08 to 21 are going to come in this time. They're going to leave Gary Huffines out. Actually, Gary Huffines actually misses his pit entry and then has to continue on the racetrack, so he's going to lose quite a bit of time here, unfortunately for him. But the leaders are going to stay out, and we're seeing that they are pretty much all single file, which is a pretty good indication that we'll be likely ready to pit here, and we'll see who's going to peel off. It looks like the front of the pack, and just about everybody here is coming down pit road.
Oh, but still cut the inside. Oh, he's going to catch the top 4.
Yeah, that's a big amount of chaos there. It's probably easier to say who wasn't involved in an incident coming down. Dude, Conrad probably being one of them. Ellis checking up in time, the 62 and the 41 getting through okay, the 00. But man, everybody else, Maxwell Caldwell, I think is doing just fine. But yeah, the 6, the 16, the 39 involved, the 19, the 10, and the 7 all involved in incidents coming to pit road here.
Yeah, and it's saying you see, dude, Conrad actually he's rolling off nice and easy now, and so this is gonna maybe make that short pit decision very good for some of those guys. The previous lap with TW, but the one downside I was gonna mention with TW is the fact that only the 9 and the 55 really came out together. The 24 and the 71 they were fairly separated. So yeah, this is gonna really shake up the running order. But again, though, I mean, we're on what? We're on lap number 24, so
Yeah.
still so much time left in this race here. But yeah, right now Charles and Dean though they're gonna just try to basically run away with this as best they can because right now you've got those two together. You've got a threesome in a second with dude Conrad Maxwell Caldwell and Brandon Briggs. Then you're gonna jump back another looks like about 4 or 5 seconds to John Ellis, Cody Nagels, and then it's just a bunch of individual cars. It's really shaking everything up. Also, I think a few miscues on pit stops as well, where I'm seeing a lot of 4 tire stops as well, including also a few pit penalties, unfortunately, with the contact. So, like, I think some innocent bystanders there, like Landed and
Yeah,
Vicente, having
yep.
48-second stops.
Tom Dixon
Hayden
as
Davis had a
well.
long stop. Tom
Yep.
Dixon, yeah, Tom Dixon, I think his was an unsafe entry with his
Yep.
teammates. So yeah, just unfortunately that pit stop just went all sorts of wrong for a number of drivers there. And again, unfortunately, some of them not their own doing.
Yeah, no, it's tough when it's, not your issue and you just kind of get caught up in it, but I mean that's racing in general. I mean, from racing little RC cars to, the top forms of, NASCAR or IndyCar or whatever. It's all, it's all racing and it's all likely to happen. But I mean, obviously, saving grace for Charles Johnson and Dean Wilkinson. They had really great execution in the pits. The only thing that stinks is they're going to be caught, but they're not going to be caught by many people. So Dude Conrad and Maxwell Caldwell are working together pretty good here, and they do have Brandon Briggs in this pack as well. So really that second car, you see Maxwell all over the rear bumper of that 8. That's the important part of it, and the 39 really doesn't have to. I mean, the more he can stay tucked up under the rear bumper of the 94, the better, but you don't want to be in a push the pusher situation where you got 3 cars pushing and all heck can break loose after that. So they're doing a pretty good job trying to get up to that pack. So it'll be about a 5-pack there. As it settles out, John Ellis and Cody Nagels are going to find each other. They are going to have Hayden Davis. So he was one of the ones who had a penalty. So he had a 50-second stop there. And further on back, Thomas Holder has found some help. He does have Justin Davis and Bud Steele, and then Bob Fitzgerald is also in this pack a few more laps down. 18 seconds back, you're going to find William Roberts still by himself. He'll probably be caught up by these guys here, so Landon Velke and Vicente Guerrero are running decent lap times. They're not the fastest in the pack, but they're, for a 2-car breakaway, they're doing fairly well. So they should be able to pick up William there and hopefully start moving a little bit further forward. Gary Huffines finds himself by himself. No penalty on the pit stop, but obviously involved a little bit in some of the issues. And we see Tom Dixon actually don't see him on track right now. Yeah. Everett Lane, we find him with Eric Laurie. Hayden Davis, obviously, we mentioned, is with the 14 and the 16. Todd Merkel is unfortunately by himself. And then Philip Bridgman is sitting in pit road. He's been sitting there for a little while. Not sure if there was some issues for that number 7 car or not, but he's been in the pits for almost 4 minutes now.
Yeah, and I say so I was watching for Tom Dixon. He just got caught at the lead pack, but the problem was with all of that was he was starting to have a blinking issue, and so the guys third on back, like the 8, the 94. Weren't really sure where he was, so that cost him a little bit of time. And actually, Brandon Briggs is same thing, kind of a danger of maybe losing that draft. I think he's going to get back there, but yeah, he was in a pretty dangerous spot as well for that. So again, just one of those things where it sometimes just things get a little too close for comfort. So, but yeah, what this does, I mean, this is again, while I'm sure the 9 and the 55 would love that 2-car breakaway, I think this is maybe better for them. Again, long ways ago. Never know if caution's going to come and win, but right now they're going to start to put some gap on the rest of the field because again, the 14 and 16 they do now have help like you said with the 19 car, so that's going to help that speed out a little bit too. But again, though, like last time by, it was a 47.79 for Charles, 48.18 for John Ellis. So I think a lot of these guys, if you're leaders, you just want this thing to obviously run clean and green, and then, but that's the danger is when you get to these further packs down, is they're gonna probably start to push aggressively, say, hey, if we can close this our gap to the next cars ahead of us, we'll have a bigger group, we can go a little faster, and so that's where some of that aggression, unfortunately, could bring out some trouble. So. We've seen it before, and just it's one of those things that it does happen from time to time. So we'll have to wait and see. And of course, pit stop's always a great equalizer too, because it doesn't always go perfectly, even when it's split up like it is now.
Yeah, indeed. It's we've talked about it. I mean, probably ad nauseum for all our loyal broadcast viewers, but I mean that execution of pit stops and just the execution in general is of Super Speedway racing is just so critical. But obviously the 9 and the 55 doing it the best in the field so far, and they are rewarded with being obviously in the top five. And as we look at the top five here on the screen, we really only see two teammates there. So obviously the two TW Motorsports entries, the number 9 and the 55, leading this pack. We've got a Team Bootnaka Esports driver in Dude Conrad there in the third position. Maxwell Caldwell for 1320 Enterprises is running with Todd Merkel tonight, but obviously Todd further on back in the pack. And then we've got our good friend of the broadcast, the 39 of Brandon Briggs. He is working with Team Underdogs. And so I think the saving grace right now, at least for the 9 and the 55, is they've got teammates to go with. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if, with the nature of Super Speedway racing, sometimes you just kind of find friends where you can, and it would definitely be beneficial for these five to try to work together more, because it is, a band of, I will say misfits, but just in the sense that, there's not really any organization as far as teammates go other than, the 9 and the 55 being up here together.
And what I have been watching is Maxwell there. A few times he kind of popped out, looked like he wanted to go, but then either didn't have the help and dropped back in. And then in doing so, Tom Dixon's actually got in between them now. So you got the top three, then Tom Dixon who's down a lap, and then fourth and fifth. So not sure the reasoning for that. But again, I do talk about that money lap I mentioned, 42 coming to 43. We're still 10 laps away from that. So basically in 10 laps time, pretty much here, this would be the move for it, which in that situation, I believe that's going to happen after a pit stop, if I'm not mistaken, based on fuel mileage. So with everybody pitting around lap 22, 23, what could be fun is, do we see someone maybe try to go that extra lap for the money instead of the draft? So I'd be curious to see if someone's in a further back position. So you know what? Let's do something different here. And yeah, we know those guys are gonna have to pit. Maybe we can go to lap 44, let's say, on fuel. Let's just stay out that extra lap. Yeah, it may cost us some, but maybe if you're in a group that's already 6 seconds off the lead, 8 seconds off, or whatever, you say, you know what? We're gonna need a caution anyway. Let's just do this and put a little bit of cash in our pocket.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Obviously, we had the caution early, so really that pit lap of 22-23 is a little misleading even there, just because obviously everyone came down pit road on lap like 5, 6, 7, I think, for that first caution. So realistically, we're running 18 or so laps on fuel, which, I mean, man, you're right. It's going to be pretty close. I think it's going to be tougher for these guys to actually stretch that out, unless, I mean, if there was a big pack that we had, I could see where it would be easier to stretch it out. But who knows? Maybe someone's willing to run out of gas just to earn some money, and cross the line and not have enough to get all the way back around. But it's gonna be tight. I'm curious to see if anybody's gonna play that game or if everyone's just gonna pit when they need to when the window opens up here.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in the top five, I don't risk it. I mean, like I said, without a yellow, at this point, it should be your race to lose if you're in the top five, depending, of course, how pit stops go. But yeah, like I said, like if you're in a group that's further back, I mean, I'd say, I feel like if you're John Ellis, Cody Nagels, you might still want to stick with it, and still see if you can close that gap during the cycle. But like a little further back, Thomas Holder, Justin Davis, Bud Steele, maybe an opportunity for those guys. And then Landon Velke, Vicente Guerrero, William Roberts, same thing. They all pitted at, well, actually, William pitted at 22, so I don't think he can. I think the only ones that I point out would be the lap 23 drivers, which would be basically everybody except for Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson, and William Roberts. Everybody else was 23. So it just really depends on, yeah, where things are looking. Some of the other lappers, maybe they pitted a lap or two later, just again from being off sequence. So yeah, I'll be curious to see. And watching right now, say, looking at the 14 and the 16, looks like they're trying to get organized here. Close call between the two of them there. I think they're trying to get themselves reorganized for who's going to lead, who's going to push. And right now, it's probably costing them both a little bit.
Yeah, trying to run side by side like that is going to make it a little more difficult and a little bit of a bump side to side. And they're going to have to figure out who wants to lead this pack because it's definitely hurting them quite a bit to losing positions or losing time to the leaders. But the 14 and the 16 are going to get settled in ahead of them. And actually, while we got a minute, we'll pull up some driver information, show you some of the fancy graphics that Mr. Gael Brooks had worked on in the off season here, and we'll go through the field here really quickly. So we see Charles Johnson obviously leading right now. Him in the 55 got off pit road pretty well, and were caught by the pack of the 8, the 94, and the 39, but they are, Charles Johnson currently leading, started 8th. He's up 7 spots. And we go back to Dean Wilkinson, his teammate just behind him there. Started 7th in 2nd, so up 7 spots for him as well. Dude Conrad is our pole position, but he is currently in that 3rd position. Maxwell Caldwell up 19 spots, starting in the 13th position, that number 94 for Merkle Enterprises. Brandon Briggs here, one of the underdogs, is in the number 39 car. He started 22nd, and he is currently in the 5th position in that number 39 Chevrolet. We're going to go back to John Ellis now leading this pack here. He started 4th, currently in 6th place, and he and Cody Nagels have taken over the lead of this pack here. Cody currently in that 7th position there. And then we got to go further back to the next pack, about another 4 seconds back to Thomas Holder here, currently in the 8th position in that 00 Chevrolet. Justin Davis in the number 10 McDonald's Ford Mustang, currently in the 9th position after starting 5th. Bud Steele there in the Navy Ford Mustang. We saw him a little bit of an incident on pit road there. Part of what caused, there was multiple things, but one of the things that caused some of the chaos and couple cars coming around. So good to see Bud still in that top 10. A decent, recovery for some chaos there. Landon Velke in the 62 is a little bit further on back. He was one of the ones who had the penalty, as well as Vicente Guerrero there in 11th and 12th. Penalty for that chaos that we mentioned. William Roberts is up here as well. Currently 13th, started in the 18th position in that number 21 Chevrolet. We'll go back to the pack behind, actually the lead pack. That's where you find Tom Dixon, that first car 1 lap down. 14th place after starting 15th there. Then we have Everett Lane, so he's in the pack with with John Ellis and the 16 of Cody Nagel. So Everett
I'm going to interrupt here, Boomer,
go ahead.
because leaders are coming in this time.
Oh, good. We'll jump to them, see them coming down pit road, and see if anybody answers the call. So this answers the question that I think a lot of people aren't going to be able to get to pit road, or aren't going to be able to get to lap 42 before they have to come down pit road.
What I am nervous about there is Brandon stayed out. They were in communication. I heard the drivers chatting, and I was saying, "Hey, let's get on the same page here. Who's going to pit when?" But Brandon stayed out that extra lap. So again, unfortunate there. That's going to cost him a ton of time in this lap here. So that's probably will drop in the draft there. But yeah, like you said though, based on these numbers, I'm gonna say nobody can probably go to that lap 43 number we just talked about. So we'll keep an eye on that. But now the big question, of course, is can these guys get in and out together? And I'm going to say, as in a general, probably it looks like a yes. So I think those 4, actually 5, will come out nice lockstep here.
Yeah, pretty solid opportunity for these guys. Should be able to get back up, and then we see Brandon Briggs coming down this time. So he does have the 21 ahead of him, and that should be a teammate there as well, so that he's got a little bit of drafting help. And further on back, Cody Nagels And the 98 is going to go for a spin. The 14, John Ellis, is coming in as well. Potential speeding penalty for him. Thomas Holder, Justin Davis, Bud Steele further on back. Bob Fitzgerald in as well. And then the 19 of Hayden Davis comes down pit road here. And we're definitely got about half the field on pit road. It looks like, yeah, we see Dean Wilkinson, Charles Johnson, Maxwell Caldwell have caught each other. Dude Conrad's going to be a little bit further back with Tom Dixon. Brandon Briggs is coming off of pit road, but he is going to be swallowed up by the pack that he once was in, and Charles Johnson is going to take over the lead, and that should be everybody coming down pit road already for that second green flag pit cycle.
Yeah, that's going to complete the cycle. So yeah, so right now it's really going to be, yeah, right now it's like the top three there are breaking away. So Charles, Dean, and Maxwell, they've been able to separate themselves from the 411 there of Tom Dixon with Dude Conrad in fourth position, and then same thing, Brandon there about 2 seconds and growing back. And listening again on the radio, Cody's suggesting on the chat, said, hey, why don't you guys drop back to us? We can then turn our 2-car groups into a 4-car group and see if we can try to catch that main pack. So some strategy being played there from Cody's side, say, hey, we can work together. This could be something that to go after. So we'll see if that comes into play. And unfortunately, the bad luck from the first pit stop is going to get worse for Vicente. It looks like he's got a speeding on pit entry penalty. He's now rolling out 48 seconds later. And so unfortunately, that's going to drop him down the running order some more.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, obviously, probably the most pit road penalties I'd ever seen in that last cycle there, but obviously due to quite a bit of contact, which honestly is, I would say, pretty rare from what we've seen even for green flag pit stops. We don't really see that many cars making contact together coming down pit road, but yeah, and obviously for Vicente, another error there coming down pit road, this time unfortunately all of his own doing, and those are probably, I think, even tougher sometimes when you know that it was nothing but your own fault, and sometimes those are hard to forgive yourself on for sure, but definitely still a lot of race left. I mean, it's only lap 43, and even with how much this pack is segmented right now, it's still a long way to go. I mean, we're just past the halfway, but I mean, anything still can and could happen, especially we've got up to, yeah, so top 10 currently are on the lead lap, so Landon Veliky will be the first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, he did a really good job there. Was able to just tag onto the back of that leading trio, which is exactly what Todd Merkel was trying to do too. And like I said, he tried to get there, but just the momentum was too strong. But the 62 was able to make it happen and get tied on there, which is, again, huge for the chance to get that Lucky Dog position. And I've been watching a little further back here. The 8 and 411, I say they're still have a decent gap. And it looks like right now it's been no real interest, we'll say, with Brandon and the 21 to drop back to Cody. Lap times are looking pretty even as well. And if anything, actually, I think Brandon is catching the number 8 car, where that might actually be turned into the foursome. There will be the 411, the 8, the 39, and the 21 might be the ones that actually wind up lining up together here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, we see, so Brandon Briggs is about 1.4 seconds off of Dude Conrad, and obviously the 21 is in front of the 39, so that's going to be even closer. And we usually say that magic number is about a second. If you can get within a second of the cars in front of you, you can usually pull that draft, and it looks like that gap is stabilizing now, growing just a little bit, unfortunately, but it looked like it was getting closer and closer.
And you know why it was growing? It's because they're catching the 2 of Todd Merkel, and actually this is going to slow them up a bunch because they're kind of indecision of who is going to, if you're going to pass or push. And so now these guys are running side by side. This is going to put Brandon right into it. So it's actually going to turn from a 4 into a 5-car draft here because they still haven't got themselves organized in that first pack. So this will be a great opportunity for those guys to get lined up together. I think Dude's going to take the lead of that point. But yeah, so put Brandon right into the mix as well with help again from that 21.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, with 5 cars, they might have a chance to be a little bit quicker than the 9, the 55, and the 94. We'll keep an eye on that as it goes. But I think that last time by, the 9 was the quickest car on track. Actually, excuse me, the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell technically was, but that group in general is the fastest out here. And Landon Veliky has found this group, so he is that first car 1 lap down. So he's in a good position there to get that lucky dog should a caution come out, but that also grows this pack to 4. And again, that's, obviously it's not a set in stone, but that's kind of a bit of a magical number where if you can get 4 or more cars, it's just about the same as a full field pack. So we'll see the 62. He's going to drop, a big push to the 41 to help him get up to this pack. So this pack now has 5 cars, and we'll keep an eye on those lap times as they cross the stripe this next time by.
Yeah, and then you start to think about, okay, if you're Landon Veliky, you've got now a teammate with you, and I think they're trying to answer my question there. As you can see, they're trying to work the lanes here. You can see Maxwell's. I don't know if he wants them to push him ahead or not. And Duty mentioned, by the way, the money lap went to Charles Johnson there, so probably from one pocket into the other pocket. Yeah, so I think what we might see here though is the 4162. I think they want to work together here and get the two of them in front of the leaders, because then that puts Landon Veliky back on the lead lap, puts Vince from 2 down just to 1 down. But again, though, like I said, Maxwell's going to want to go with him. So I'm going to be very intrigued to see, are they going to work with him and then maybe ditch him, or how it's going to work? And you can see right now, I think Charles and Dean said, you know what? Yeah, you guys just do your thing. You fight it out if you want to, but watch for Vince here. Is he going to try to make a big move to get back below? You can see Maxwell kind of wants to try to lead that group. But yeah, they've got other plans here. So if those two can get clear and you see Charles and Dean, they're going to follow. Maxwell's like, I got the lead and I'm back to 3rd.
Yeah, that's one tough thing. Obviously, now we've got 2 packs. There's 5 cars here. Well, 6 if the 19 should be able to keep up, and Maxwell's dropping back just a little bit to give a chance to him to keep with this field, which is good. Oh, we've got a yellow out. William Roberts potentially involved.
Cody. Yeah, William Roberts, Cody Nagel's also a big shot in that one. We'll have to go see. And again, that may have been those big pushes gone wrong here.
Yeah, so we see, a little bit of a blink from the 411. And then the 21, I'm not sure if he's just trying to come down pit road or what, but he just kind of starts to spin and slide. And he comes across the tri-oval. I'm not sure if this is how he ends up making contact with the 16. So we'll see if we can pull up the 16 of Cody Nagels here.
Oh, yep.
So yeah, so just a sitting duck. And we'll play this and bring it to, yep, here we go. So we see the 14 reacts, the 16, no time to react, the 21, man, the 14 makes the move to go to the outside, and then the 16 tries to commit to it and just absolutely makes a massive hit on the 21. Obviously, thankful that it is iRacing and not real racing. But man, that was a big hit for the front end of the 16 of Cody Nagels.
Yeah, and again, like I'm kind of looking back, and yeah, I mean, again, when you're locked onto each other, like you're kind of blind, and yeah, I think they didn't know where that car was going to go. As like I said, I went back and I looked at it too, and he had them locked down. It's just whether or not that car was going to roll backwards or what was going to happen. But you remember how I made that comment a bit ago about the 41 there and the 62's aggression? That puts Landon right back on the lead lap without having to take that wave around. It keeps Vicente 1 down instead of 2 down. That's a huge opportunity for him, and I think the beneficiary of all that should wind up being the number 411 of Tom Dixon. Yeah, to get that lucky dog. And then unfortunately, Cody, just as destroyed as that car was, he winds up having to take a tow, waiting for the repairs or waiting for the tow, get that fast repair and get rolling back out. But that should drop him 1, if not 2 laps down. So. It's going to bring the field in on here, and that's going to be, what are we at, lap 50? I don't know. So there's going to still be one more stop to the end on this one here. They don't have the fuel mileage to make it to the end, but yeah, I went back and looked, and yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it was some contact between the 21 and the 411. I think it was that connection issue, kind of maybe a little bit of net code afterwards that just
Yeah.
threw the 21 into the grass. And again, you're in the grass, you're just along for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him trying to. He was sliding. Saw him trying to make it, keep it straight. But obviously, by the time he was sliding out of control, I mean, he's probably going over 160 miles an hour. And at that point, it's like there's not a really easy way to save that. But yeah, unfortunate. Does bring out a yellow. And I wouldn't have been surprised even if the 21, or if the 16 hadn't made contact with the 21, it could have brought out a yellow as other cars approached the 21 due to
Yeah, I think
the
yellow would
angle
come
on
out
track
regardless.
anyway. Yeah, but obviously unfortunate that it had to come at the cost of the contact between the 16 as well. So um, we do see quite a few cars just getting fuel, or yeah, fuel only, maybe some right side tires for some of the front runners. We did see Dude Conrad, John Ellis, Brandon Briggs, Thomas Holder all take 4. Landon Velick, he spent 24 seconds on pit road, so assuming that it was potentially 4 tires, maybe some damage repair, not entirely sure. Tom Dixon, Gary Huffines, and yeah, Tom Dixon will be, it looks like he's still blinking in and out, but when he is scored properly, he should be on the lead lap and in 11th place. And then Gary Huffines will be the first car one lap down. Everett Lane, Vicente Guerrero, Hayden Davis, Todd Merkel, and Eric Laurie further on back, 2 or more down. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a mixed bag. That definitely broke up the pack pretty good, but it does give us an opportunity to shout out one of our sponsors. We'll hear from 4D Racewear here on this commercial break.
4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
So during the caution here, the 19, the 2, and who else you said there, Gael?
The Where was it? As I'm looking at my list again, the 98 Gary Huffines.
Okay, the 19, the 2, and the 98 all take a wave to get one lap back. I think that should put Gary Huffines on the lead back. I think that puts Hayden and Todd one
One down
down.
still.
Yeah, yep.
I still like the gamble because, like you
Oh
said,
yeah,
if you're 2 down, you're pretty much in a bad spot. So,
yeah.
yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. I also am noticing that the 19 does have a little bit of right front damage. So again, draft wise should be okay. And yeah, so we'll have to see how it all regroups here. Looking to see, looks like Cody
Yeah.
is back on track, so he is just 1 down. So yeah, so it's gonna be a race within a race now with that green white or with the Lucky Dog battle. Right now, again, it's gonna be Everett Lane who has it, and there's gonna be a lot of hungry guys behind him that are gonna try to take it from him.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be it's gonna be 12 horse race in the lead pack here, and yeah, I love that gamble, especially from the 19, the 2, and for Gary Huffines to get back on the lead lap here. They all pit last in lap 39, so I mean it's only been about 10 laps since they last pit, and you can get a couple extra laps under yellow, but we are no longer that way. It is green flag back out on the speedway. 23 laps to go as they get up to speed. Through the gearboxes they go, and the 9 of Charles Johnson's going to waste no time. He's going to get ahead of teammate Dean Wilkinson, and they are going to try and see what they can do to continue to control this race from the front.
Yeah, it's gonna be Everett Lane's job now. He wants to push Bud Steele clear, and then he's gonna try to find a way to get around Bud Steele. So this is where you may not be teammates, but you want to work together. So if you're Vicente, you say, you know what, I gotta push this number 24 car around, because if he's on the lead lap, I'm on the lead lap. And there you go, Everett gonna make a huge move there, gets the bottom in front of the 9. But look at the top lane. Maxwell's got some friends there again, same guys. They want to get their laps back. That's going to include that 16 there of Cody Nagel. So, like I said, it's going to get dicey here now, because there's a lot of plans being made on who wants to get spots back, be it for the lead or just to try to get back on that lead lap.
And it looks like a penalty for the 411 of Tom Dixon after the pit stop under yellow there. He is serving a penalty now. Unfortunate for him, but the 9 and the 55 are still holding off the outside lane for now. The 94 and the 16 a little bit disconnected there down the back straightaway. The 55 and the 9 have a really good connection there, and I'm almost kind of curious. So I know obviously in the real world, when these cars ran in NASCAR, especially in the Cup Series, well, obviously they ran only in the Cup Series, but we noticed that the Fords were really great at Superspeedway racing. Part of it was just from the shape of the nose being almost completely flat. And I'm curious with the 9 and the 55 if there's anything to that where the 9 keeps jumping ahead. Obviously, I know before it was just who got off pit road first, but obviously when they start side by side or whatever, curious if that's a ploy to have the Ford pushing the Chevy versus the other way around, because the Chevys do have a little bit of a pointed nose. The Camrys do too, obviously in this style, but no Toyotas in the field tonight, so just Fords and Chevys. But I'm kind of curious if that makes a difference also in the sim, as it once did in the real world too.
That's a great question. I mean, but with these cars being all 3D modeled, I would have to say yes, because I mean, we know how much time and effort iRacing puts into nailing these things as accurate as possible. So, yeah, it's very possible. But I'm seeing exactly what we had just talked about with these guys trying to get lined up to get themselves back in the lead lap. And I was watching Maxwell, watching Charles and Dean. They're not rolling over. Say, yeah, you know what, you guys just go ahead and get back
Ooh,
to
the
the
94.
lead lap. Oh, Maxwell.
Yep.
Does he save it? He does, but oh, and they're talking about maybe that same netcode issue that we saw on Friday.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so the same netcode issue potentially there. The 94 gets shuffled out, and unfortunately, I think he may be in danger of losing this draft now, as he's like 1.5 seconds and growing behind Gary Huffines. And oh, we've got a spinner through the grass. It's the 14. That's going to bring out a yellow, and John Ellis is going to go for a ride through the grass.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I'm looking back at the Maxwell sitch. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I went back and looked at Maxwell, and it was exactly the same that happened on Friday night, where just the car just darts backwards as if, and so that's what got him. So I'll say I gotta go catch back up, see what happened to John Ellis here.
Yeah, we're watching it on the replay here, and it just looks like a little bit of a contact between the 071 coming down and the 14 being there, and then the 14 goes around off of the nose of the 2, no harm or fault of either of their own, but he's going to go for a ride through the grass, and that is going to be plenty to bring out a caution, and obviously that's the saving grace for the 94 there, as you see him avoiding the 14, and just a little bit of rear bumper damage here. We're actually going to jump back live. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's showing us that, the field is completely stopped at the entrance to pit road here. Not entirely sure if this is a issue with the pace car not being caught up or something. I'm not sure. Oh, yep, there it is. The pace car is finally catching up to the leaders here. And so the whole field, I just got a bunch of red notifications that everyone was crashing, which obviously if a car comes to a stop, it says that. But obviously, no one was actually crashing. Everyone's just kind of coming to a stop here, and everyone's should be able to continue to roll on and roll through pit road to get service here.
Yeah, and this is dangerous though, because again, you have to make sure you knew exactly who you're with at the time, because otherwise there's gonna be a lot of passing under yellows. Or passing on pit entry, so that's going to be a big one too. But then we have to go back to some of the stuff that's happened in all of this is drivers that maybe got their laps back. So I'm seeing Cody with the leaders. I'm seeing Vicente with the leaders. So they've got their laps back. I'm seeing Everett Lane hustling around the field here. I'm not sure if he was the wave around car or not. But yeah, so there's been a lot that's happened over the course of this yellow here. And it's actually Everett's going to cycle around here in about the third position. So possibly the wave round driver there. We'll probably see him in this time. I would presume. And so yeah, so with all this happening, I mean, I yeah, I'm a little confused what's going on right now.
Yeah, so yeah, it's scoring Everett as the leader, and he's slowing down now. I think he's realizing it. But yeah, he scored as leader. I think he was trying to thought he could get a wave around. I'm not sure, but he scored as the
Oh, it's
leader
actually
at the
with
moment.
everybody stopping. I think remember in iRacing where if there's if even if you weren't involved, if you get let's say a 0x contact, that costs you the wave round. So I think if you come to a complete stop, that also is going to cost you the wave round.
Mm,
So there may be some drivers there that didn't actually get the wave around like they were supposed to. I think I heard the 19, if I'm not mistaken, Kia Payton Davis saying, "Hey, I had the wave around and it went away on me," and that's probably because he came to a stop to make sure, obviously, that he was following what he was supposed to do, staying behind the pace car and all that. So, yeah, somewhere there's some miscommunication with maybe who was supposed to pick up the lead of the race or what. And so yeah, this whole order here is going to be very jumbled. I have a feeling this restart's going to have a lot of drivers having to make some pit road penalties. I'm watching Everett Lane right now. He's staying out, but the thing is, I'm showing him as our race leader. So if he waves here, which he shouldn't be able to, yeah, this is going to get all jumbled up right now.
well, we'll let these guys sort it out, and that gives us an opportunity to step away. We'll get a chance to hear from Whiplash Simcams once again. Obviously, the group that brings you all the views that you see us playing around with here within iRacing. So, without further ado, more from Whiplash Simcams. We've sorted it out, maybe, kind of, not sure. Who knows? But we're going green anyway, and we've got the top 14 in the field on the lead lap. There's going to be a lot of cars single file, and Everett Lane is going to be the control car for this restart, and Dude Conrad will be side by side with him. Green flag is in the air once again on the speedway, and everybody pretty much tucked in single file for now, and we'll see how these drivers get back up to speed and who starts to go to the middle and top lanes first.
Yeah, it was a big stack up on the restart here. And so yeah, it's all kind of got all clustered in. I'm gonna be very intrigued to see what pit penalties we see coming onto the restart. It sounds like, unfortunately, with that stack up that I had talked about on the towards the back of the field on the restart, and yeah, the back end just really checked up, and it sounds like one of the drivers unfortunately got a penalty for it because of it. And so yeah, it's gonna be a tough one here tonight. But right now it looks like most of the front runners staying out, so maybe all good and clear for that front group. Like I said, unfortunately the 62, like I said, it's gonna be that pit road penalty due to the restart. And again, that was just due to the stack up, nothing of his doing, but unfortunately, just isn't going to get cleared, it looks like. So, with that, though, some of the big differences in this at the moment, though, is Dean Wilkinson, who had been pretty much up front the whole race. He's at risk of losing this draft right now. So he's in a tough spot at the moment. As, yeah, we're back to it, though. And those guys that fought hard to get their laps back, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that was definitely a good move. Obviously, they were a little bit aggressive there when it was 4 or 5 leaders packed up, but this put them back in position and gave them the opportunity to be up here. And we've definitely seen a lot of people try to do that before, because it helps a lot of people out too. Obviously, it helps yourself out, but it gives someone else the lucky dog. Obviously, Tom Dixon was the beneficiary there before, I believe. But it's it definitely helps out to try to take advantage when you can, and we'll see how they battle it out here. But the 14 is going to be in the outside lane with the 16 and the 41. 24 leads the inside lane, and he has the help of Dude Conrad. That's all for position on the lead lap. The 00 of Thomas Holder in that conversation as well, and they have the 071 Eric Laurie. So that's 4 Team Bootnaka Esports drivers lined up nose to tail the inside lane. Obviously, the 071 is lap down, actually 2 laps down, but still able to help his teammates there. And we'll see what they can do to try and get around this 14, 16, and 41 group, who seems to be pretty strong running the top.
Yeah, great job though by the 10 there of Justin Davis is working with the 98 of Gary Huffines. They've actually been able to clear that inside lane or middle, clear the inside lane from the middle, get to the bottom. And then just unfortunately, Dean Wilkinson and Brandon Briggs, they're going to lose that pack like we talked about. So the 2 and the 55 they tried, they'll probably drop back to that other group. So. But yeah, so right now, like you said, and the other thing that I didn't mention is I think we're good on fuel to the end for those that did pit on lap 58 under that yellow. The one driver that did not pit in all of this though was that 24 of Everett Lane, so I'm a little nervous about him. He's gonna have to have a yellow, maybe just expecting things to get a little dicey still at the end. And that said, though, with that big accordion on that restart, maybe that was the strat, is to stay out there and have that track position just because of that, because it's been tough on the restarts. Drivers getting a little antsy to get going, even though it's always go on green. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, right now still teammates lined up top 3 in that middle lane. Charles Johnson taking control now on the inside lane in front of that 10 car.
Yeah, and I think Everett would probably be somewhere around 6 to 8 laps shy on fuel. So that window is going to be closing pretty quickly for that 24, and we'll see if and when he ducks down pit road and gets service to that Chevrolet. But I think everybody else who's still running, everyone else that is still running should be able to make it to the end. And 14, 16, 41. As they cross the stripe, 11 laps to go. The 6 of Bud Steele is going to drop to the bottom here and pick up the 9 and see what they can do to continue to move forward there. And you see a big push there from the 9 to the 6. And it's interesting to see the 14 and 16, the 41, as they enter the corner, they kind of enter high, and when they come down, they kind of come down the banking. And I don't know if that's just giving them a lot more momentum through, down through the backstretch. But obviously you saw them there. They were pretty much all the way in the high lane. Obviously now they stay in the middle, but through 1 and 2 they kind of stayed high and jumped to the middle lane there. And I don't know if that was more side draft or just trying to get more momentum, but obviously they're trying to do everything they can to control that outside lane right now.
And that's what I'm going to say is I've seen everybody try to pass these guys on the inside. They get the move, they get the momentum, they run to the bottom. They can get to about Cody, Vicente, second, third place. I want to see somebody try to take that momentum because, like I said, they're running the middle right now. I want to see someone take that momentum, jump to the outside of them, put them down on the inside line, because everything I've seen with these cars so far this season, you want to keep that car wound up. You want to keep that outside line rolling. So be it Maxwell or the 98 there, Gary Huffines. Again, you can see though they're going to run again down low here. So at some point, someone's going to say, "Hey, you know what? We've tried the inside with about 5 different drivers. It's never worked. Let's try to time this thing. Let's get to the top of that 41 car." And then at some point, you'll probably see them maybe cover where maybe the 16 and the 14 go to the third lane, but maybe pin Vicente down to the middle. And as soon as I say that, I think they're spying on me here, Boomer, because now they take that third lane. And so say now you can't really get to the outside of them. So
Yeah, I think they know this. I mean, we've seen them running this on Friday nights too, which again, we were talking with Swift Groover on Friday, and it's really weird to see that the outside lane can actually be dominant like this. In the real world, this happens more often than not, but we've almost never seen this kind of racing make its way into the sim. But I mean, it's the same team, that's been figuring that out from Friday nights and Sunday nights so far this season. I mean, there's a reason why the guys at the front of this field, obviously Lana Veliki, part of this group as well, has a victory this season. But it's a reason why these guys have so many wins. And I was kind of curious. I like the idea, like you said, Guile, to jump to the top, but I think they understand and know how much of an advantage that is, and they're going to probably be protecting that at all costs. Like, hey, go ahead, run as far as you want to the bottom. We're just going to stay up here, and it's going to help us out more. And yeah, we'll see if anybody can try to get around them on the high side, or if anybody can mount a charge to the bottom. But we're going to have 7 laps to go as we come back around to cross the start-finish line.
yeah, and I think that's exactly it. It's if it's going to happen, it's going to have to be organized, and like you said, so. And we've already lost actually a couple cars in this. Justin Davis, Gary Huffines, they're dropping off the pack right now. Thomas Holder as well. So it's now down to pretty much the 9, the 8, the 94, and the 6 car. Because again, you saw we just mentioned Landon Velke just kind of tagged back into that pack. However, he's going to work with his teammates. Again, you can be a lap down and still play a role in this race. And that's again in the sense of helping your teammates. They don't want you blocking and things like that for the leaders. But yeah, if you can help teammates, by all means, go for it. So, and again, you see Maxwell gets the big run. He's going to try to see what he can do, but he's got no help. So
Yeah.
he's going to get to again. Charles almost got to Vicente, and he's going to drop right back. Got to get right back in line. So they got to find a way to get themselves in communication here and get on the same page.
Yeah, it's tough when you're not running. There we go, Everett Lane coming down pit road to get that fuel that we said that he'd need. But it's hard. You can't just use the all chat because obviously the leaders can hear that. So it's really hard to know when to time this if you're, not in a team chat with these guys. I mean, there's 4 different teams represented behind Nightmare Esports, and that's the TW Motorsports in the 9, 1320 Enterprises in the 94, the 6 from Roswell Motorsports, and the 8 from Bunaka Esports. So they don't have organization like the 14, the 16, and the 41 do, where they're all in the same team chat working together. And that makes it so much different because you have to anticipate what someone's going to do. You can't just know. And, okay, if I go to the bottom, are they going to go with me? Oh, no, like you saw there, before, obviously the 9 just stuck with the top and the run for the 94 fizzled out. But, are they going to go with me? Are they going to help me? Or what's going to happen? As we see actually a big run coming from the 62 to the high side. I'm curious if he's going to try and get up there with his teammates and mix it up to help them out.
It's very possible. And I was listening to them while you were talking, and Landon was telling that 10 car, like, hey, just hit me with everything you got so we can catch back up to these guys. Don't live, just hit me. And that's exactly what they did, and they got up there. So great job by him. I said he brings 2 guys in there, but again, though, it's probably also helping his teammates because then they can get organized. As again, you can see now the 8 and the 9, they've lined up. They've got the 10, the 98. And so now you're going to start to see, and I'm watching Charles. He's trying to get as tight as he can, try to break that draft, get the side draft going. But again, you can see it just breaks away. So I think that top side, that's where you got to be unless you can make some sort of big momentum shift at the bottom. Kind of one of those like late moves where you run the top and you arc it down on exit, maybe out of 2 or 4. That may be the only real way to do that. But yeah, it's going to be hard to break this trio apart. And again, we'll see if we'll see if they race each other coming to the line this time if we get to that point. I kind of think like this one they might say, you know what, we got to stay organized because they're trying to figure out a way to get around the 3 of us.
Yeah, they're all trying really hard, and that high lane is just so dominant. And those guys from Nightmare Esports have been doing it so well all year long so far. I mean, obviously it's still early, but they've been doing a really good job executing that. And yeah, you can see where the 9 and the 8 can do what they can to push, but they just can't get to, the third, even the third car in line. And, Maxwell Caldwell, he has the opportunity to jump down right now, and he knows that I'm not going to do it. He knows that he has his probably best efforts are vested in staying in that top lane versus trying to go down ahead of the 9. But because he's been clear of Charles a few times now and has elected to stay in that top lane. And, we see that, up to 4 car breakaway for the top lane, especially as they come down the back straightaway and into the tri-oval and everything, like down the longer straights. And obviously now the 9's way far ahead out of the 8, and that's going to really break up the momentum that they had in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and I think that's what's gonna have to happen is you're gonna basically make one big charge at it. And to me, actually, with Talladega again, I don't know if you knew this, Boomer, but the start finish line Talladega is actually not at middle of the tri-oval.
Oh, really?
I think you make the move out of turn 4, come into the checkers, and you try to make that big push. You can see Maxwell though; he said, "All right, let me pick up Charles," and said these two were talking a little bit earlier about trying to work together, but again, you can see just a little bit of separate. Yeah, there you go. They couldn't stay lined on together. Charles said, "Okay, I got to go back middle top." So it didn't quite work out. And that's the thing is they're going to have to stay full commit to each other. Now, if you're Bud Steele, same thing. You had the opportunity to drop in front of Charles. Said no, not yet. So again, I think basically next time by, that's where you drop to the bottom and you try to get that big push.
Yeah, they're going to have a coordinated effort there, or if you can somehow catch the 41 sleeping, which I don't think you're gonna, but try to catch him to the outside and see if you can get up there. But obviously the 62 is the next car in line. He's not going to go with Bud Steele no matter where Bud Steele goes. He's going to stay with his teammates, and in fact, he's going to peek his nose out to the top there, try to get around the 6 even, as the 14, the 16, and the 41 have a pretty solid opportunity here to finish 1, 2, 3. They're going to pass the lap car of Everett Lane down the back straightaway. It is the white flag. They're going to come around, and we're going to crown a victor this time by.
Yeah, and Charles Johnson's with them, but the problem is he's got no help behind. So again, he's going to be between a rock and a hard place. So now it's going to be up to the 6 car to try to make a charge with the 94. The big bobble though from those guys. And so you can see on the inside, but up front though, say it's going to be the 14, the 16 trying to side draft for the win. And it's close between the two of them. I believe Cody may have got it though.
Yeah, I will have to confirm, and maybe Guile, you can help me confirm, but we're showing we're showing a gap of 0.000, and Ellis as the leader, but like you mentioned, I think in iRacing you're seeing Cody as the race winner.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the start finish line here as well, looking at the cameras, and I believe it is going to be, yeah, I think it's Cody by maybe about a splitter or so. So I
Wow.
think it is officially going to be the 16, but I say obviously iRacing it'll find it.
Yep. iRacing will tell us who the victor is, and we can confirm that. Obviously, I don't have a chance to open that up, but the 16 and the 14, nonetheless, are going to do some celebrating, and it won't really matter a ton because we'll talk to all of them. But we'll definitely, want to give props to our winner here tonight. But before we go through a little bit, we'll watch a little bit of celebration in the background, but we'll bring up those race results for you now, and obviously remembering that it's going to be. The swap is going to show that John Ellis won, but we believe that Cody should get the nod there. And actually, as I pull the results up, it is correct there. It shows Cody Nagel's 0.03 of a second over John Ellis and Vicente Guerrero in third. So Nightmare Esports comes home a 1-2-3 finish for them as they all burn it down. On the front stretch here, Charles Johnson for TW Motorsports comes home in the 4th position in that number 9, trying to do everything he could, but just wasn't able to mount a run enough to get around that top 3 there. Bud Steele coming home with a really solid top 5 for himself tonight. Dude Conrad there in that 6th position. Maxwell Caldwell 7th. Gary Huffines and Justin Davis there, a solid top 10. And man, I don't think we gave enough credit there to watching the 10 and the 98 do what they did. Obviously, we talked about it. We didn't get to see exactly, but to see, to know that they were losing that draft and catching back up, that is, obviously not a race winning move, but it could have been. And they did a darn good job getting up to the pack there. So props to Gary and Justin for being in the conversation and still rewarded with a nice solid top 10 finish. Top 10 for Dean Wilkinson as well. We saw him and Charles Johnson really controlling a lot of the middle portion of this race, and unfortunately, after the final restart, Dean Wilkinson is off the pace and did catch up to Brandon Briggs and Thomas Holder and I think a couple other lap cars, but it was too little too late. Unfortunately, they were too far behind to be able to move any further forward and catch up to that lead pack. Landon Velke in that number 62, he's going to come home the first car one lap down. Everett Lane will be the second car one lap down in that number 24 for Team Bootnaka. Todd Merkel also a lap down, as well as Hayden Davis there in 15th and 16th respectively. We see Eric Laurie in the 071 first car 2 laps down, and Tom Dixon there in 18th place, also 2 down. And we got a few more to scroll through. Bob Fitzgerald, 6 laps down. William Roberts, we saw him with the contact. He had to retire early, 28 laps down. Philip Bridgman also retired early at 53 laps down. And then Evan Carlman not making the start of the race, shown in 22nd, 75 laps down. So with that, we will bring it to some of our interviews here. And I think, Kyle, we'll do a little bit of a round robin. Why don't we bring all 3 of them up here together? A teammate 1, 2, 3 finish, and get a chance to interview all of them together. What do you think?
That sounds like plan. You say we've had a couple of these with these guys because I say they've, like you said, they've been doing super well this season. So yeah, let's grab our top 3 there with Cody Nagels, John Ellis, and Vicente Guerrero.
Yeah, so we'll bring them all up at the same time here and highlight the achievement for finishing here. Top 3 for the team. It's definitely got to feel pretty solid to get that effort here tonight. We'll start with Vicente there in 3rd. You guys obviously were running pretty hard. You got further back in the pack and trying to catch up as much as you can. We saw at one point kind of mixing it up with the leaders, being trying to be as aggressive as you could to get up there and get laps back. And you guys seem to do a pretty good job of it, and obviously that seems to have rewarded you guys with a solid finish here tonight.
Yeah, for sure, man. I made a couple mistakes there going in pit road and cost me penalties, so I just had to battle back. And got hooked up with Landon there, was in front of the leaders before that caution came out, and got one of the laps back, and then ran with Cody after that caution, and I think he was a lap down too, and we just needed to be up front in front of those leaders, so like that, if there is a caution, we could get our another lap back and be on the same.
Yeah, it seemed to work out pretty well for you guys. Obviously, getting back up there, and obviously for you, Cody, you and John seem to be nose to tail for most of the race, but still kind of in a similar situation. Maybe not the laps down portion, but further on back in the pack. I mean, were you confident enough that there might be some cautions coming that would give you a chance to get back up and catch back up, or were you guys just trying to keep your head down and run as many laps or as quick laps as you possibly can there?
Just run quick laps and hope that we could get lined up with somebody, because there for a while I think there was a solid 20 lap stretch that me and John didn't have anybody. It was just the 2 of us, and I knew if we could get anyone lined up with us that we could maybe attempt to run it down, but we were running out of time. But it seemed like if anyone did get caught up to us, we would beat them off a green flag pit stop, and then it was just back to me and him. So we got very lucky to even have a shot to win that race. I mean, I'll take it, but usually with Area 51, they're good about running, the long green flag runs, minimal cautions. There was a little bit more cautions in this one than I was used to, but I guess it's better to be lucky to good in that respect.
Yeah, definitely. I guess I also realizing I'm going a little bit out of order. Obviously, for whatever reason, SDK it shows Cody second and John first, but obviously, according to iRacing,
We'll
Cody.
take that.
What was
take
that?
that.
Yeah, you'll take that there, yeah. But yeah, going back to you, John. Obviously, you guys seemed like you had a pretty good effort there. Seems like it seemed like you guys were pretty much just committed to each other, just pushing as hard as you can, as long as you could, for pretty much every part of the race. And it seemed like that team strategy was pretty crystal clear throughout all parts of it.
Yeah, we kind of we had that green flag pit stop, and we kind of all got cleaned out coming to pit road, and that gave us some black flags and put us some others of us just not in the lead pack. So me and Cody ended up getting off pit road about the same time, and then we were just stuck together for, I mean, it felt like 30 laps. It was just us two out there, multiple fuel runs, and we were doing our best to not lose as much time. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to run the same time as the leaders with just a pack of two. So we were just doing what we could, hoping either they would, fall apart on green flag pit stops, or there'd be a caution that'd bring us back together, and then we got it. From there on out, we, caught back up, and then we're able to kind of control the last, fourth of the race again or whatever, and then, like we always do, race it out at the end. Cody got to my inside. I tried to side draft him, then saw Vince coming with the run, and I tried to block him and kind of force him to push me across the line just in front of Cody, but didn't work out. But we'll take a 1-2-3.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll keep it with you here, John. I see, obviously, man after my own heart, running the Ford, Blue Oval. Appreciate that. I'm curious though, because I know obviously in the real world, the Fords were typically better pushers than the Chevrolets, just from the sole fact that the front end is a lot more straighter, and obviously there's that point on the front end of the Chevys. Is that intentional in why you run a Ford? Is that something that you guys, as a team, kind of plan around, that you might be able to push a little more evenly? Versus the pointed noses, or does it really not matter too much? And I know obviously Guile and I talked about it, like iRacing tries to keep it as realistic as possible, or does it not matter really much at all?
It's some cars it can matter. It's not a huge difference in the Gen 6. I actually am a Chevy guy, but Tony Stewart got to run Tony Stewart's scheme. I'm not gonna put it on a Chevy. I think that would look a little silly. So I'll sacrifice and run a Ford just to have the scheme I want for the guy I grew up watching. So, but in a perfect world, I'd be out here in a Chevy.
Fair enough. Well, it definitely is. It's a good looking scheme, and obviously, I mean, obviously the classic colors, the Mobile One colors, always look good, and that number 14 always shines through. But we'll bring it back to Vicente here. Obviously, like we mentioned, you guys were uh, trying to get back up, get some laps back. I mean, was there a point in this race where you guys were kind of nervous or worried about where you're going to end up, or were you guys pretty confident that hey, it's a long race, we can settle in and we'll get there when we get there, kind of thing?
Yeah, I was worried. Trust me, especially here in Area 51 where it pretty much, most of the time goes green. I didn't think we were gonna have a shot to get a couple laps back there at the end, but man, I'd rather like Cody said, rather be lucky than good.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like you guys had some breaks go your way, but also fought pretty hard to get back up in it. So seemed like it was a pretty good team effort there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, couldn't have done it with them. I don't know what happened when Landon, or else he would have been up here too. I think he might have got tangled up and got a black flag on that last restart.
Yeah, it looked like it was from our vantage point. It looked like it was just a checkup and potentially, yeah, a black flag on the restart. Unfortunately for that 62, but it looked like he was going to try and get up there with you guys and try to mix it up and help out a little bit. But obviously, I think was just finishing just behind the 9 there as that you guys crossed the stripe. But obviously, so going back to you, Cody. I mean, it's definitely been a fun season so far. So, John's got a win. You've got 2 wins now. Landon's got 1. But I mean, it seems like you guys are rolling on all cylinders to sweep the first 4 races of the season.
Yeah, for sure. We raced it out, obviously, but I would like to see Evan, because Evan had pedal issues or he would have been in the race. He said he was working on them, but he'll be back next time we race. Want to see Evan in victory lane, want to see Vince in victory lane, and obviously get all 5 of us in the playoffs and then go from there. But as far as the team perspective, as long as we're, one of us is winning, that's obviously the goal, and we've been fortunate enough to lock the podium out in a few of these races. You just, like Vince said, you can't do it without the teammates, and we work so well together. And I owe all of my personal success to them. And like I said, it's a fun league. I hope that we have more races where we can go a little bit more green and maybe do the green flag pit stop thing. I like our chances in those races. But the races that don't, they're fun too because it stacks everyone up. And like in this one, I personally felt like we had to work a little bit harder. They kept getting a run at us, but I had to manage temps a little bit there toward the end to have something to push Ellis out to where we could duke it out in the tri-oval. But yeah, if we can keep going down this road, I'd say uh, we'll find more success definitely on Sunday nights.
Yeah, definitely. And it seemed like that was one last thing I wanted to ask. It seemed like that was kind of the team mentality until you come off a turn four. It seemed like you guys were extremely committed to each other, running the top and trying to keep it wound up there. But obviously through the tri-oval, I assume kind of no holds barred. At that point when you guys know it's in pretty good shape, you guys are willing to mix it up and obviously go for the pass there.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what the mentality is. Anyone that runs on our team, uh, we will take care of you. It's essentially, we take care of our guys and make sure that we're in the best position as possible. And then from there, it's just we duke it out and we have some fun at the end. We like these races to have good, fun finishes. It's good for the broadcast. It's good for the league in general. Gets different winners. And I'd say my personal prediction is after Super Bowl week when we come back. I think you're going to see Evan and Vince get victories very soon.
Good deal. Well, obviously, you have had the execution so far this season, and like I said, sweeping the podium tonight, 4 wins already within the team for the first 4 races. It's definitely got to feel good. But we'll roll that red carpet out for all the thanks and shoutouts. We'll start back with you, Vicente. There, third place finish. Anything you'd like to say for getting that last podium spot tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, Gail and Boomer. I can't wait to watch this one back. I want to thank Area 51 for putting on this league and all the drivers here participating. And want to shout out to my parents out in Arizona. I love you guys, my mom and dad. My wife for letting me do this pretty much almost every night. And Vince Service and Repair sponsor on my car and our team here, Team Nightmare. Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, John, obviously coming home a solid P2 for tonight, and pretty good looking paint scheme. Take us, or well, yeah, anything else you'd like to give thanks or shoutouts for your second place finish?
Just as always, thanks to you guys up in the booth, Gail and Boomer, Charles and everyone else that helps run Area 51. This is my, first season, and obviously, can't have too many complaints with how successful we've been so far. So having a good time. That all the races have been pretty, uh, not too many cautions in them. And just shout out to the team. This is definitely probably our hardest race so far. Just having, I think Cody was black flagged and a lap down at one point. Vince, I think, had 2 black flags. And we just really worked together and strategized to make sure that our guys a lap down were out front, and so that you didn't have to rely on a wave around. We, were able to keep them out front when the cautions fell, and just have them naturally get their lap back, which I think allowed most of us to be there at the end and really helped us get that 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, definitely was a good opportunity for you guys there, and yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch it. And obviously, Cody, you know the drill now. It's your turn. What else do you want to throw in there for that victory here tonight?
I think they hit the nail on the head pretty good, but I always got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast and Charles and everyone at Area 51 for putting this fantastic league on. Um, and I want to give a shout out to my family, and then Vince, I'm gonna give a shout out to your wife. She's a freaking trooper. Me and Vince and some of our other teammates ran the MRL 500 earlier today, so we've been on the sim the entire day, and there's not a lot of women I think out there that would put up with a guy that's on the sim the entire day. But to the people, the wives that let everyone let us do that, you guys are the real MVPs, and we're the reason that we're able to find success. Because without the support of them, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Good deal. Well, congratulations to all three of you. A solid podium sweep for Nightmare Esports tonight, and obviously we'll see if you guys can. Obviously, we got the week off, like you mentioned, but we'll see if you guys can run it back again in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was an exciting finish there. Obviously, we had 3 yellows there. Didn't get through as many of the green flag pit cycles as maybe typical, but still a pretty solid race through and through there tonight, Gael.
Yeah, no, it was a really good race, and like you said, and like they said, I mean, it kind of forced the race to go a little bit different versus just being through the pit stops, and I was saying some of the incidents too. Again, I mean, it was just a net code connection issue situation that unfortunately sent that 21 off and running down the infield and came that one and brought that one out, and yeah, a few miscues on the restarts as well that we noticed, but yeah, I mean, it's still a really good race, and again, so I'm gonna have to find out if they're spying on me because as soon as I made a comment about trying to get to that top side, man, they all jumped up there. So, but yeah, no, it was a really, really good job by all of them, and yeah, like I said, some of the guys that just we've talked about teams kind of stepping up their games with the boot knockers when they were really rolling on all cylinders. They're a little lower on the kind of the driver depth count, if you will, at the moment. And so Nightmare's definitely been stepping that up as well. So yeah, so I mean, we saw there was a lot of attempts to go after him, but it was not. I don't feel like coordinated enough. There's too many drivers trying to go at one point, then another point. So I think that's what was the main difference tonight. Was just again, just didn't quite get that organization together with that second lane trying to work something there. But it's going to take pretty much picture perfect moves to get it done with those guys. So I mean, that's the thing is that's what these guys want to do is they want to find that challenge. They want to step up to it. It'll make when they get those top 3 finishes even better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw a great effort from, Charles Johnson, Bud Steele, Dude Conrad, Maxwell Caldwell, trying to do everything that they could to get around the Nightmare Esports guys. I mean, it's so tough. Like we mentioned, you can key up in sim and you can say, "Hey, let's do this," and obviously the leaders can hear that too. And I think that I think that was obviously their plan was to try and run the top. I wanted to ask him a little bit, about but we'll let them, keep their secrets at least for now. But we had a feeling that they were going to try and protect that at all costs because I mean we've seen them run that pretty much all season long on both Fridays and Sunday nights, and it's worked well. And yeah, it's different. I mean, we like I said, we've seen this often quite a bit in, the real Cup Series, Xfinity, and Truck Series at times, but we've never really seen it quite match that in iRacing in the sim. So the fact that it is matching more often than not is at least for this season has been interesting to see. And yeah, I'm really curious to see who can put together a coordinated enough run to surpass those guys because they're definitely doing a pretty good job with the execution right now. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch it, and we'll see. Hopefully, see if any of the other teams can be there at the end to be lined up to try and pretty much everybody at the end there had a teammate that got knocked out of it, and it was just a hodgepodge of people from everywhere, and makes it a little bit more difficult. But so. We'll obviously we can't leave before we tell you about the schedule. So as of right
Yes.
now, we should be back on Friday night with the Friday night series. I think we're going to Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Daytona. Yes, so February 6th is scheduled to be Daytona. And then I
And actually, we're
believe,
gonna push.
go
So
ahead,
I'm gonna step on you, Boomer. I'm sorry. We're gonna push back 1 week
for
for
both.
both
Okay,
Friday and Sunday. That way,
thank you.
the series stay consistent. Yeah. So basically, it'll be an off week this week. Tuesday night, we'll be back. Area 51 will be racing with the Indy cars, I believe, at Michigan. Over on P1 Broadcasting. But yeah, Green White Checker TV at Super Speedway though. Friday, Sunday, we'll be taking that week off for the Super Bowl on Sunday, of course, and then for Friday, just same thing, kind of keep it consistent, that way we kind of keep the schedule on track with each other. So yeah, so basically we'll be back in 2 weeks time. But again though, if you want to watch some more Area 51 racing, definitely check out Tuesday night with the over at P1 with the Indy cars over at Michigan. Should be a lot of fun at that combo. So yeah, and again, Boomer, I mean, like I said, I don't want to make people choose between Area 51 and the Super Bowl. I mean, the Super Bowl needs viewers, so we do what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I could care less about what's happening in the Super Bowl once again this year, unfortunately. So, but I'll be here. I'll be willing to race if they want to race. But no, I understand. Obviously, it's a big event, big night, and we're gonna take that off. And obviously, thank you for correcting me. So we will take Friday night. I knew we were taking Sunday night off. Obviously, now know we're taking Friday too. So it'll be 2 weeks before you hear one or both of our beautiful voices up here in the broadcast booth, and Brandon Briggs on Friday nights as well. But yeah, I mean, absolutely make sure to check out, like we've mentioned all season long, P1 Broadcasting has really done us a solid, taking over the Tuesday stuff to kind of take a little bit off of, well, in all honesty, taking a little bit off of Gail's plate and mine. So we appreciate that from them, and they're doing a good job over there. So you're going to want to make sure you check out Tuesday nights. Obviously, Area 51 still running strong on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, and we just have some friends at P1 Broadcasting helping us out there for the IndyCar portion on Tuesdays. But so yeah, we'll be off. Hopefully, everybody enjoys the Super Bowl. I really, as a Bills fan, don't want to watch the Patriots win another one. So go Seahawks, and everybody stay safe. Have a great week, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks' time for more Super Speedway action here on Green White Checkered TV. Good night, everybody, and take care.